Hey everybody, this is a bonus episode. We're going to be doing a little series where we cover the Paris Olympics. Coming up on today's pod, we got Triborough Trina here to talk about all the wild highs and lows from that opening ceremony in Paris. We're going to be talking about all the dramas that have happened so far and the really unique way that this Olympics is being covered. Hope you enjoy the show. All right, everybody, we have a huge treat right now. If you listen to That's What I Heard, you know her as Triborough Trina. But guess what, folks? We've pooled together all of our Southwest Airlines points, and we have gotten Triborough Trina overseas to the Paris Olympics. She now goes by Transcontinental Trina. Please welcome Trina.
Thank you so much, Frex. It's a true pleasure to be here. I was not permitted any carry-on bags, but that's okay. That's okay. All I can say is wee. You know, we out here. wee out here.
wee out here. All right. Big news of the day. We just watched last night the opening ceremony in Paris. Let's go. I'm going to count to 3. And on 3, you're either going to say I liked it or I didn't like it. We're both going to say what we thought. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
You liked it too. Okay.
I liked it. There's plenty to roast, as is the case with most French things, right? There's plenty to roast, but I loved it. I was blown away.
Blown away. I was writing down notes while I was watching it, and the words I wrote down were like breathtakingly beautiful.
Yes.
Expansive, daring, and then you go self-indulgent, a little long, and quite frankly, incomprehensible at parts and unhinged at others.
Unhinged.
But for the at-home viewer who just is down to clown, and then it turns out that you're watching for 4.5 hours, which I did not know that's how long Olympic ceremonies are. Okay. I think the viewer was a big winner. I think the athletes were the big loser there.
I don't, because at least they didn't have to walk around. You know, every other ceremony, they have to walk through this big-ass stadium and, line up. Well, it was pouring rain. It was pouring rain, and they were trapped on a boat. So
that's true. I think that they got very little camera time, each delegation.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they were so concerned with cutting to the Grim Reaper doing parkour over the roofs of Paris. A lot of the countries got very little airtime. Some of the countries were not looking in the right direction. They were waving in the wrong direction, so you only saw their backs. And then, because of the rain situation and the poncho scenario, all of the hard work of the designers to design these delegations beautiful fits, which is half of what we're trying to see. We want to see the fits.
Right.
We're just kind of lost because they just floated by on a boat.
That's true. And all the conversation you and I had about Ralph Lauren, the this, the that, the look of the uniform, and then it's just why was anyone even concerned? Because they're huddled under plastic ponchos.
It looked like nothing, as far as the outfits go. However,
it looked like nothing.
The rest of it looked like, my goodness. So just some facts that I read. I read that this is the first time that an opening ceremony was ever not held in a stadium.
That's right.
So this is the first time we became outdoor cats.
Yes.
Okay, this was an outdoor cat vibe.
Al fresco, as we say in Europe.
It was, the creative director was a theater director, so that's, you could tell.
Obviously.
The budget, and they went over, but the budget was $150 million. So this is a Lord of the Rings movie budget. Maybe not.
That's what it costs to get Celine Dion these days alone.
That's true.
We'll get there. I was emotional. We'll get there.
Okay, let's run through some things. First of all, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Was this ceremony brat? Okay. It was messy. It was
messy.
Ridiculous, but unapologetic.
Yeah.
It wasn't technically smoking a cigarette, but energetically it was smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, okay, so there were some parts that were unbelievable, and then there was the can-can dance. So there were some major... Okay, let's just acknowledge this was a huge swing by France to do this, and that's why I liked it. Yes.
Because it was a huge swing.
They did great.
There were some hits and there were some misses.
Yeah, there were hits and misses.
Let's start with the misses. The misses were the dancers. The dancers, I imagine it's next to impossible to rehearse something at scale like that. However, there was a scandal that they went on strike.
Yeah.
That week because some of them were being paid as low as $65. So
as a flat rate.
Okay, so there's 3,000 dancers, and only about 10% of the dancers used were unionized. So obviously the unionized ones were getting better rates, whatever. I'm sure, the more known the dancer, whatever. But the lowest of the low dancers, their rate started at $65. So Monday, when they were doing the big taped dress rehearsal, the full dress rehearsal, the dancers, a portion of them in protest, stood on the side of the river with their fists up for 8 minutes. Instead of rehearsing.
Oh.
Now they got
and
that rate up to start at 165, but boy did that show. Those 8 minutes, you needed to be practicing that box step, babe.
Not just practicing the box step. I mean, the Rockettes, they were not.
Wait, you gotta get closer to the mic. I don't want to miss a word.
Sorry. And not just here's what we can say, and it's unfair because we're New Yorkers, but when you see that can, you say to yourself, the Rockettes, they are not. Okay. I've been going to the Radio City Christmas Spectacular. Really, I've only been there once, but we all see the commercials every year. And the Rockettes, they were not, but God love them. If they were that bad because they were protesting practices because of ridiculously low wages, then God bless.
Mm-hmm. God bless. And I would just imagine how difficult it is that was probably one of the harder things to pull off, is to have those cues go according to plan when the show is a 4-mile floating show.
That's right.
So, and then the pouring rain, you could tell some of them were about to slip. There's French clowns riding BMX bikes around.
How about the
they were
fashion
supposed to be
show?
In sync. The fashion show, the Grim Reaper with the fashion show. I mean, unbelievable. So that's what I would say is one of the misses. I would say another one of the misses was that final stretch where the Grim Reaper with the torch gets on the fake horse and gallops Sleepy Hollow style for 45 minutes down the river.
Wait, so that is when I fell asleep.
It was some Game of Thrones shit.
I literally fell asleep
mm-hmm.
and had to, and thank God for DVR, because I was like, I can't hang on. It was like I felt like they went to commercial 3 times, and I was like, oh my God, I can't keep my eyes open.
Same. And you come back and you're like, he's still galloping.
And then when they finally made it ashore, it was a woman. That was a woman that last.
Yes, it switched to some hips, a little hottie with a body. So
yes.
It switched from being like a guy doing parkour to a little hottie with a body coming off the boat and then riding the horse, right?
No, 100%. Riding the horse and presenting the Olympic flag to...
That's what it was.
Yeah. I wrote down some words. I have splendor.
Thank you.
I have drama.
Yes.
That Marie Antoinette, that whole lame... Okay, we'll get there. Drama.
No, let's do it now. That whole... I have that under my huge win category. That little section, that musical mashup.
Unbelievable.
Where the Grim Reaper pops down into a production of Les Mis. Then Marie Antoinette's singing Headless. And then Metallica or the French version of that comes out on the castle balcony. And starts playing while this bitch is singing Carmen.
Yeah.
Floating down the river.
Yeah.
That was splendor.
Yes. Yes.
Splendor.
What is the French Metallica? Metallica?
I don't know. Metallica. Metallica.
We did at the opening of the opening ceremony, we did have to confront the age-old question: what is a permissible level of E. coli? I don't have an answer for that.
Okay, so they said it was appropriate to go on boats that night.
Mm-hmm.
However, I heard the commentator say that if those water games were held today,
that's what I'm saying.
It's too much E. coli. They would not be allowed to be held in the river.
It's too much E. coli, which asks.
So how much is a probe?
What's the permissible level? For me, it's chlorine. 0.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Un paquito, a little bit.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Also, I'll say a miss. I'll say a miss.
Yeah.
Bringing the parkour reaper,
Mm-hmm.
bringing an open flame into the Notre Dame did not pass the vibe check.
Right.
It did not.
Really tempted fate.
But a little insensitive, a little too soon. But they rang the bells at Notre Dame for the first time since the fire, which was
that's
emotional. It's emotional. Yeah,
that's a hit.
It is a hit.
That's the thing. Like, that's why I'd say I liked this show, because 1 minute I'm laughing, like crying laughing, because it's so ridiculous and so unhinged. And the next minute I'm deeply emotionally moved. And that, folks, is entertainment.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I'm not sure that I consciously watched any previous opening ceremony. So I was like, is this normal? This can't be, is this what they always do? So I went back, I watched a little bit of Beijing and a little of London. They're not wild like this.
No.
Beijing is beautiful, though. Do you remember Beijing? It was held in a state. They're always held in the stadium, but gorgeous, like choreography. Let me tell you something. Those dancers hit every fucking pop and lock.
Yeah. No, you can literally go to Mott Street and get dancers that are not going to miss a beat.
I thought you were going to say you could literally go to jail there if you missed a beat.
Also,
kind of true.
The stakes are much higher. We assume. No, I think this was a production, and because like it was done outdoors, I mean, just they did things that they couldn't have done if it were inside a stadium, and they, like you said, they hit it out of the park. They took a big swing, and I think in general they hit it out of the park. I'll tell you some things I'm concerned about.
Tell me.
We went over to Tahiti for a moment to look at the Tahiti surfing situation. Here's what I don't love. 6-story waves that crash onto a reef.
Yeah.
I don't love that as a surfer.
They said, interestingly enough, that they picked one of the deadliest surfing areas in the world to hold the Olympics.
Right.
Which is kind of fire, but kind of like, I'm scared. Wait, do you surf? You said as a surfer.
No, I'm not a surfer.
You've boogie boarded, though.
No. I surfed once. But
okay.
When I said like as a surfer, I meant like hypothetically.
Yeah, putting yourself in their shoes.
Putting myself on their board.
Right.
I would not want to be in the deadliest lagoon or like whatever the fuck.
The deadliest lagoon. We will have, in a couple of days, I have a surfing correspondent coming on, my boy Kyle Rapps.
Oh,
He'll be there to discuss the surfing competition with us. But the thing with the surfing thing is like, they have it scheduled for 4 days, but they actually have 10 days set aside because you can't.
Yeah.
You got to wake up. It's a game time decision.
That's right.
Will we compete at surfing today? They got to check out the waves. They got to see the vibes.
Yeah, it's up to the moon.
It's up to the moon and the stars, hon.
So.
And if Capricorn is rising, look out.
Get your wet wipes. The turkey rebrand.
Other questions.
The turkey rebrand. Did you hear about Turkey?
So this caught my attention during the Euro Cup, which just happened.
Oh, okay.
Because all of a sudden the announcers were going Turkey, Turkey, and I go, oh my God, have I been saying it wrong the whole time? That's so embarrassing. Of course, I'll correct. I'll say it properly. Then I found out that they. Go ahead, tell me why.
No, I have no idea. I was just
okay.
I'm asking you.
So I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a wrong answer. Wrong answers only here. But what I heard, and it's probably wrong, is that they changed it because it's the name of a food in America. That can't be right. Someone said that to me. I know they were fucking with me, but I didn't Google it. Wrong answers only.
Yeah. Retracted.
Retracted.
Listen, if that's the case, that would be so funny because it's like, why are you obsessed with us?
Right? Like,
why are you obsessed with us, turkey?
It's not even our top 3 meats.
No one likes turkey. We literally only eat it once a year because we have to. Get
one
over
extravaganza
yourself.
a year.
Get over yourself.
Not even our top 3. Let's go through and say our top 3 meats in America.
Top 3 meats in America? Chicken, without
Number
a doubt.
Number 1,
beef.
Chicken. Number 2, ground beef, like patties.
Regular beef, even steak.
I just made
a lot
2
of
burgers.
red meat. Yeah, that's true. A lot of red meat.
No, but you got to be specific. I think ground beef. You think or no? Steak higher.
Steak might be higher. I don't know. No, ground beef. If meatloaf, burgers. You're right. You're right. Meatballs.
Taco meat.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
Like American taco night, you know. All right, so number 1, chicken. Number 2, ground beef. Number 3,
Pork.
tough.
The other, white meat.
Bacon.
Yeah, everything. Everything that falls under pork.
Okay.
Pork loin, pork
And that
chop.
settles it. And
Yeah.
so if they would just invite us to the UN to give our 2 cents, we'd let Turkey know, don't worry. We're not attacking you.
Nobody's thinking about you, Turkey. Nobody's thinking about you.
It's okay. And other concerns?
I have a question.
Okay.
Macron's hair, is it a piece or nah?
Gotta be.
You think?
Gotta be. The shape of it is illogical.
Also,
Gotta
the
be.
coloring. The color doesn't match.
Nothing makes sense. And he used to be like the hot young thing.
Yes. The
But you
Trudeau
know
of France.
I don't know if you saw who the hot young thing is now, but the guy who gave the speech, who's the head of the French Olympic Committee.
Oh, the French. I thought you meant Bach, the fencer from
No.
1973.
This French guy, who's like the head of their Olympic committee, hot.
Really?
Will be the next president. Well
What is
spoken.
his name?
No idea.
I'm gonna Google him.
Hot Olympic committee France.
Oh
That
my
should be the next
God.
Macron.
Yeah.
They're like, in their constitution it says the president has to be like hot. Oh, let's briefly touch on the threesome thing in the opening ceremony.
I said nothing.
What a
reps,
swing.
Nothing reps France like a menage a trois.
I couldn't believe it.
They
I was like,
invented
this is daring. Like they're just putting a threesome piece in here.
Yes.
And then the worst part of the whole, not the worst part, but a part that I thought was a miss was the commentators.
Wait,
The commentary.
Frex.
Because after they cut it out for the nighttime version, but I watched it live during the day. After they did that menage a trois thing where they kick us out of the room, like
Yeah.
the 3 people start hooking up and then they close the door. Kelly Clarkson or Savannah Guthrie, one of them goes, well, now I'm a little hot and bothered.
Oh.
They cut it out for the nighttime, but I was like, no commentary, please. And then when they did the Louis Vuitton section, Kelly Clarkson's like, oh, I have a hard time staying out of that store. I'm like,
Yeah.
this isn't the Today Show. Show some respect.
Thank you so much. I literally have, and I'll read this in this order.
Thank you.
Didn't love Kelly Clarkson.
Okay.
God bless Snoop Dogg, who made it into the hearts and homes of America.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, French rap.
Right.
Those
French
are my
Sean,
notes.
French Sean Paul.
French Sean Paul. No, I did not like Kelly Clarkson. I feel like she bombed. Everything she said, I don't know if it's like Mike Tirico and Peyton Manning left her like out there on Front Street, just like let her out to dry, hung her out to dry. But it was like they had banter, and every time she would say something, it was dead silence. And I'm like, babe, you're bombing. You're bombing. Wrap it up. Someone light this bitch.
I don't think they should have been commentating at all during the ceremony. I thought that they should have been going when they should have paid more attention to the athletes coming down. And you're supposed to, like, every time a country comes, you're supposed to give a piece of trivia about them. Wow, first time back in the games since 1982. You're supposed to, I thought that there's supposed to be a little, the other thing I heard, I tried not to read too many things online about how people felt about the opening, because I wanted to remain true to my own instinct about it.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I saw was that the American coverage, we had like Kelly Clarkson saying dumb shit, and they gave no context historically or culturally as to what the different segments meant or the significance of them. Whereas on the French broadcast and in the international broadcast, they were explaining every piece as they go. On our broadcast, they would go, all right, here's the Liberté section.
Yeah, okay, maybe they didn't do a great job. I wouldn't say they didn't do it at all. Because, like, when they lit the hot air balloon as the Olympic cauldron at the end, when they lit the whatever, they said it was the first hydrogen air balloon, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I felt like they were giving context and historical whatever.
Was the Grim Reaper explained one time? Did I just miss that?
No.
Okay, so that's a huge lapse. Because it was a 4.5-hour movie about a character we don't know. We don't understand the character. I had to piece together. I'm like, okay, I guess it has something to do with like revolution. It had like revolution vibes. But why is it a Grim Reaper?
Also, I'm sorry. How did we not even mention Zizou until this point?
Wait, what's
Hello,
that?
the soccer player who took. He was the first one. He brought the
Right.
also that didn't age well. Him bringing the open flame onto the train did not age well
Right.
in the
Oh, okay.
beginning.
So should we? I think. Well, yeah, we should skip to the. So we have a couple of dramas going on.
Okay.
Any final thoughts on the opening ceremony? Overall, I'm gonna say I love that I thought it was so French, and that's part of what the point is to showcase your culture, your vibe, to bring your vibe, and that the vibe of that was so French. They did not stick the landing, probably 60% of the time. However, I liked it.
I loved it, and to wrap before we get to drama is just again talk about splendor. There isn't anything Frencher or more extravagant and if we talk opulence, it's Celine Dion singing off of the edge of the Eiffel Tower.
Yep.
I was emotional.
I was emotional as well. And just on the subject of being emotional, seeing Team USA made me emotional.
All right.
Just everything that's going on in our country, we're at a fever pitch.
Okay.
Wait, disagree?
No, I had no reaction. So I'm
Okay.
like, okay.
I loved it. I love seeing people like just everybody with the flags chanting USA. It just made me like hyped up because sometimes I feel bummed like other nations ride so hard for their nation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I feel
And-
like we all support during the Olympics, no?
Yeah, during the Olympics.
Oh.
That's why it got me hyped up.
Okay.
Just to see like we had 500 people, you know?
Yeah.
So happy. Everyone was all the joy. Despite the rain, every country, all the people on those boats, such joy. It was just like beautiful to watch. I wish they got a little more airtime, but
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, but the airtime would have been just them walking into a stadium. That's what they used to
Yeah.
do in the days of old.
yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I guess we got what we got.
They did great. They did great.
They did great. Okay, so dramas so far. I don't know if you saw any of these. Canadian assistant coach of the women's soccer team gets kicked out of the Olympics for flying a drone over an opposing team's practice. The assistant coach of the women's soccer team flew a drone over New Zealand's practice, like cheating.
Like yesterday? Like
Like a couple
there?
days ago.
What?
Yeah. So kicked out. So I don't think the team is kicked out, but the assistant coach who did it is certainly kicked out, and then the head coach quit just to show responsibility. Bananas, dude. Apparently this is common. I don't think they're the last ones with the drone thing.
Are they like, is Bill Belichick the assistant coach? Get him.
It's also like Canada's not going to win. So
Right.
U.S. women's soccer, I love this team.
Yeah. It's a young team. Good team.
Young team, but they have that brat pack of Sophia Smith, Swanson, and Trinity Rodman. Cool girls.
Yeah?
Brat Summer.
Okay. U.S.
Young
women's
girls,
soccer.
good.
Brad Summer.
It's just all new faces other than them. Okay, then the other drama that was insane. Argentina Morocco men's soccer qualifier. You see this? There was this wild frantic, it was 2-1, Morocco was winning. Wild frantic last few minutes. Argentina ties it 2-2.
Oh, wow.
Okay, huge draw. So they go in the qualifier games, I guess they don't go to overtime, they'll just take a draw. So it was 2-2 draw. The teams leave. 1 hour and a half later, for reasons that they don't explain, the referees say that the last Argentina goal doesn't count because someone was offsides. So now, but everyone left. So an hour and a half later, they call the players back to an empty stadium, and they have them play 3 minutes of stoppage time in front of nobody. And Argentina obviously doesn't score again, so Morocco walks away with a win, 2-1. And Argentina's like, are you kidding me? That's not how things are done.
That's never how
If you
things
miss
are
the
done.
call, you miss the call. What are we doing? I would be pissed if I was them.
That's
Obviously.
insane.
Insane.
Wow.
Other drama. I told you about the dancers.
Oh, yeah, the strike. Yeah.
Oh, and then someone blew up the train tracks. So what
Right.
happened with that? I don't know that much about that. Scary,
So
though.
I heard there was a series of small fires. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was just one or just a series of small fires, but it impacted the railways into, Paris, into like city center, for people commuting in, which is why I was like, yikes, when Zizou grabbed the torch. Also, like when he ran out, I didn't quite understand. I was like, they're paying homage, like in that very, very first, before the Reaper
Right
had
when
the
he runs
torch.
into the empty stadium.
Right. Well, when he takes it out of the empty stadium.
Yes, okay.
And also, who was that guy who brought it in the stadium? Was it
Don't know.
like Tony Shalhoub? I'm not sure. So, it's juggled out there. So, so yeah, he comes out, and at first I was like, why is it the 60s? That was weird, right? It was like the 60s when he came out of the stadium, and then it seemed like he jumped like over someone moving a couch, and I was like, oh, that's like the hurdles, track and field. And then he passed the schoolyard with people skateboarding and the cyclists, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand what we're doing. It's an homage montage. It's just all the French sounding words at once.
Right.
And then he got onto the train, and my dad was like, an open flame underground, wouldn't recommend it.
Wouldn't recommend it. Also, the other thing is, how did that flame not go out when he was parkouring through the rain, etc.? But yeah, there was a lot of dangerous fire-related behavior. If I was Smokey the Bear, I'd be rolling over in my grave right now.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a lot of really unsafe fire-related behaviors at that ceremony.
But also a lot of cobblestone. There wasn't a lot of brush. So.
Wait, but I don't know what happened with these, with the attacks. Like, I don't know if they have a suspect, but basically, so it affected people's ability to get into Paris for the opening ceremony. But also, it's the same train that, for example, the men's USA basketball team was going to be taking, because their games are played in Lyon, not Paris.
Interesting.
So it affected, it's going to affect how the athletes get to some of these outer borough stadiums, these outer borough events.
Yeah, the Brooklyn events, the Yonkers events.
Exactly. This would be like, oh, we're randomly playing a game at Mohegan Sun.
Oh my God.
How random would that be?
That would be very random.
Okay. Last thing I want to touch on.
Okay.
This NBC coverage, the NBC family of properties, the coverage that they're putting on for this is the first of its kind. And I think it's really going to change the way the Olympics are done. Because NBC has always done the Olympics, but Peacock has not always been around. Peacock was around for the last one, but it was in its infancy. Plus the last one, the Tokyo Olympics, it was I heard it described as like such a joyless run up because it was the pandemic, everything got pushed. I forget this, but at the Tokyo Olympics, they had those athletes go out there and perform in front of no one.
Yeah, it was empty.
There
the
was
last
no
two
crowd.
Olympics, winter and summer, yeah.
There was no crowd, no family, no friends.
Yeah.
It was just like other nations' athletes trying to like hype people up, which is kind of beautiful, I guess. But I mean, the horror of that. No, like, yikes. Anyway, but we back, baby. I think NBC is saying in a big way, we back, baby. Yeah. Because now Peacock is really up and running. They're planning on doing 5,000 hours of coverage, including 329 medal events. We're going to be able to see things we've never seen before. We never would have been able to watch half these events before. Now we can watch absolutely everything. I got up at 5 a.m. today, and I was like, oh, I'm going to start watching at 5. It didn't really work out that way because I got up at 5. I made a coffee. I was like, I don't need to see this much.
Yes.
Why would I have done this?
Yeah.
Let me go back to bed for a little bit.
Yeah.
But the option is there, is what I'm saying. And I feel like NBC really is trying to make this the most brat Olympics, and also the most. They're making plays for so many different groups of people that I actually think it's pretty awesome. Like they have Alex Cooper there doing doing interviews with a lot of the athletes. So bringing that like millennial girl crowd. They have
Who's Alex?
Call Her Daddy is there.
Call Her Daddy? Who's that?
The podcast. It's a huge podcast for like girls in their 20s and 30s.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm thinking Alice Cooper.
Yeah, which would bring in heroin addicts who have passed. Hey, how are we doing in the heroin addicts who have passed away demo? Can we get Alex Cooper in here? Alice Cooper? So funny.
Not Alex. Okay.
You know, they're bringing Peyton Manning for the football boys, and they're doing this thing on Peacock called Gold Zone, which is modeled after Red Zone and uses the same talent hosts as Red Zone, because Red Zone is that thing on Red Zone is that thing where you can watch all the football games at the same time. So on Peacock, if you want my login, let me know. They have Gold Zone, which starts at 7 a.m. and goes till 5 p.m. and is a multi-box. It has 4 boxes going at once with the commentators. Anytime something interesting is happening anywhere, they'll just throw to that.
Holy
So they have Gold Zone. That's fire. So they're appealing to people who just love sports like that and love the NFL. Then they have Leslie Jones, Kenan Thompson, and Kevin Hart hosting a funny, maybe not nightly, but like every other nightly recap of the events.
Nice.
Which is going for that like YouTube kind of like clips. They'll get a lot of good clips out of that.
Nice.
Colin Jost is going to Tahiti to cover surfing.
Must be nice.
I don't know. I just think that by their own admission, NBC kind of blew it the last few years with the coverage, and this year they're leaving no stone unturned. Look how they've got us out here.
Yeah.
Look what they have us out here doing.
I know. I mean, listen. By having their own streaming service, by the fact that it's a streaming service, there's no reason that they shouldn't have every single event,
Of course.
24 hours a day. It's not 24 hours, but with the time difference, it's probably like 18 hours a day.
Close to 24 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, before we go, since we're talking about being OD patriotic and loving our country for the next 2 calendar weeks, we have to just quickly touch on Beyonce at the opening ceremony.
AKA Team USA Barbie.
AKA out of nowhere Beyonce.
AKA Splendor. We go back to Splendor.
Splendor. You know what? That hyped me up so much because it just makes me feel like I love our nation when I see like how cool we do culture. We're so good at culture.
It was first of all, when she came out, she was like, "Hello, girls," and they were like, "Hello, Beyonce." I was like, "Bitch."
And the fact that she goes, "Our big, beautiful, whatever, complicated country." She had to put in complicated because obviously we do have a lot of problems. We can't be like 100. We can't be blind to our issues while we do our patriotic 2 weeks.
Yeah, she had to put in complicated because of the drone strikes, but
yeah, because of our behavior,
right?
Because of our behavior around the world and at home,
right?
But boy, did we look good.
Oh my God, it was that part, and also that part made me emotional too. Maybe I should go get my my levels checked out, my chemicals, my hormones. But that made me emotional too when she was just showing all the different athletes, and again, like you said, just different races, different ages. You have people that it's their first Olympics. You have people that it's like they know this is their last, and both are equally emotional, obviously in different ways. Leave it to Beyonce and it was one of her songs from her new albums, Cowboy Carter, and it was just like, yo, let's fucking go, let's get snappy wappy.
That's how I felt. I just felt like, let's fucking go, Team USA. I'm ride for our nation.
Yes, we are.
This is what we
color.
Need.
Yes,
that too. I don't want to be like corny about it, but like,
yeah,
when you see like just how our country looks, it's awesome. Like, we are every type of person, and we all come together and make the best cultural content. We're the funniest.
We have the Rockettes. We have Beyonce. We have Lady Gaga, who also we didn't even discuss. It was fine. It was fine.
It's fine.
But we have Gaga. God bless the other places. And France can't even claim Celine because she's Canadian.
Yeah, and just we do the memes the best.
We do.
I don't know.
We are the global pace setters.
We're funny. And it's, rightly so, we are honest with ourselves about our shortcomings morally and otherwise at home and around the world. But we can also take a minute to just be proud of ourselves and be proud to be a part of Team USA.
That's right.
And that, folks, is why the Olympics are beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot to look forward to. It's going to be an insane 14 days. We're going to be doing episodes every couple days, maybe every day. We'll see, we'll see what there is to talk about. And we're going to have correspondents covering different sports with different interests. It's going to be a fun time. Please join us. Any final thoughts?
Go USA.
USA. USA. USA.
Wee wee ho.
Wee wee. Wee wee. We out here.